Whoa! Whoa! Whoa, that was quite the wild ride there, friends. Woo! Well, I'm gonna put this car wheel, steering wheel just away right now so we can get to our fast story of our friend Anakin Skywalker and the pod races in Race to the Finish Line. A long time ago, in a small planet called Tatooine, a young boy named Anakin Skywalker looked up at the planet's moons. Although he had never left his home, Anakin had always dreamed of going on great adventures and racing across the stars. One day, it looked like Anakin's dreams were coming true. He met a Jedi-Knight named Qui-Gon, who needed supplies to repair his ship. Anakin didn't have any money to help the Jedi, so he had entered a pod race, hoping to win the supplies. Although Anakin had never won a race before, he knew that he could do it. As the timer counted down to the beginning of the race, Anakin looked at all the other racers. Ooh. But he wasn't worried about any of them, except Sebulba. Anakin knew that Sebulba cheated to win, but he wouldn't get away with it this time. Friends, is it good to cheat? No. Suddenly, the starting gong rang. Gong! And they were off. But something was wrong. Anakin's pod car wouldn't move. Anakin began to panic. Sebulba must have done something to his pod car, but Anakin thought of what Qui-Gon had told him right before the race began. Concentrate on the moment. Feel. Don't think. Use your instincts. Anakin took a deep breath, flipped a few switches, and restarted his engines, and they roared to life, and Anakin quickly flew away, but he was a long way behind Sebulba. Meanwhile, Sebulba knocked his ship against another racer's pod car, and the pod car crashed off the course and burst into flames, and Sebulba laughed. One fewer racer to worry about. Oh, that's not nice. Behind the crash, Anakin flew through the cavern and into a deep cave. One of the other racers wasn't paying any attention and ran right into some rocks, and Anakin quickly flew around. That was close, Anakin thought. Anakin raced through the stadium. He had 2 more laps to finish, but he smiled. He was catching up to Sebulba. The racers thundered across the planet. Sebulba was still ahead of everyone else, but he wanted to make sure that it stayed that way. Sebulba threw a piece of metal behind him and went into another racer's engine. The engine exploded and pieces of the pod car flew everywhere. A piece cut through the cable connecting Anakin's cockpit to one of his engines. Anakin began to spin out of control, but he remembered Qui-Gon's words. Anakin couldn't just worry about the problem if he wanted to win the race. He needed to fix it. So if we have problems, we need to fix things and find solutions. Anakin quickly brought his cockpit under control and grabbed those loose cables. Soon, he reattached the engine and was back in the race. Sebulba and Anakin zoomed through the stadium one last time before the final lap, with all the other racers far behind. Anakin realized that Sebulba was the only one between him and the finish line. Sebulba's pod car was much bigger than Anakin's. He forced Anakin off the course and high up into a cliff, but Anakin wasn't going to be beaten. He changed gears and crashed back onto the course right in front of Sebulba. For the first time, Anakin was in the lead. Is Anakin going to win? Let's find out. Suddenly, Anakin saw smoke coming from one of his engines. His pod car was on fire. The hard landing must have damaged it. As Sebulba raced ahead of him, Anakin knew he didn't have a lot of time. He needed to fix his pod car right away. Anakin closed a flap above the engine to put out the fire. Then he quickly pumped coolant into the overhead area. Soon the engine roared back into full power. Anakin grinned. It was time to win the race. Anakin could see the stadium getting closer and closer and closer as he pulled up right next to Sebulba. Sebulba tried to push Anakin's smaller ship off the course again, but Anakin had a plan. As Sebulba rammed him, Anakin caught his pod car on Sebulba's, and Sebulba was stuck. Then, as Sebulba tried to pull his ship away, Anakin unhooked their crafts. Sebulba zoomed wildly off course and smashed part of his pod car into a rock. Anakin had used Sebulba's own attack against him. Anakin raised his hands over his head as he crossed the finish line. The crowd cheered. Qui-Gon ran to Anakin's pod car and lifted him high up on his shoulders. Anakin had done what had seemed impossible. He had won the race. Anakin smiled. One of his dreams had come true. He couldn't help wondering what great adventure he'd have next. Whoa! That's pretty crazy, right, friends? Yeah. Wow. Whew. Racing looks like really hard work. And really scary and dangerous too, right? Yeah. So we need to be extra careful. Yeah. We don't want to cheat and we don't want to hurt others. We just want to race nice and fair and clean, right, friends? Yeah. Friends, if you were in a pod race, who would you want to race against? Would you want to race against a friend? Or a mommy or daddy? Or anyone else? Really? And who do you think would win? Well, maybe we can see, and maybe you can go have a race with your friends or mommy or daddies or sister or brother right now. Okay. Well, you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.